Stories that conclude with a cliffhanger always leave us with the question, okay, when is the sequel? Lily's father has been kidnapped and the team set off to rescue him. After more than a decade without resolution, it was uncertain if the franchise would ever move forward. It wouldn't be until a whole 16 years later that the fandom would be able to find out what happened to these characters. Psychonauts 2 picks up a few days after the events of the first game. Truman has already been rescued, suffering from a form of mental poisoning. The nature of this illness is not explored too much in the game. However, this is focused on in another game set in the Psychonauts universe. For most players without a VR headset, this one largely went unnoticed. However, it is essential to experience in order to set the stage for the mainline sequel. The nature of this mysterious illness can be found deep at the bottom of the ocean, in the Rhombus of Ruin. Much like the real-world Bermuda Triangle, this location is the stuff of urban legends. Aircraft and ships avoid the area as it is well known that any travelers who cross this stretch of ocean are liable to vanish forever. In this setting, this is because this geographic region is home to a psychoactive mineral deposit. If we remember back to the Whispering Rock campsite, the area was well known for its rich titanium deposits. This mineral had fallen to Earth inside of a meteorite and amplified psychic ability. Rhombus of Ruin showcases a different mineral with a different effect. Instead of increasing psychic powers, it distorts it. Psilirium, as its name suggests, imposes a form of delirium upon the minds that are nearby. Delirium is classified as a disturbance in mental abilities and can display itself as difficulty organizing thoughts and reduced perceptual or sensory abilities, to name a few. In this game, those under the effects of Psilirium experienced severe hallucinations. The Psychonauts created an underwater facility to study this, but it was quickly abandoned when the scientists could not endure the effects. As far as we have seen, the rock only affects psychics. Dr. Lobato and the fish guards were unaffected. For the mad dentist, this can be due to the ice pick lobotomy that removed his psychic powers, or the fact that he was crazy to begin with. For the fish, their minds were primitive even after being genetically altered, so the psychoactive radiation would have no effect. After Raz enters the mind of the sea life and looks down upon the Psilirium deposit, he finds aircraft, trains, a cruise liner, and even a fake UFO. One secondary effect of this mineral is that it disrupts machinery and magnetically attracts them. The Psychonauts jet falls from the sky for this reason. Those who are exposed for extended periods of time suffer from an illness known as Psilirium poisoning. This is what we are told is the cause of Truman's coma seen at the start of Psychonauts 2. While details of the symptoms associated with Psilirium poisoning are not fully explored, we witness the hallucinatory states firsthand. Let's look at them all and see if we can find some commonalities. Mia is first found on a school bus filled with fish guards. The vehicle is resting on broken train tracks. Nothing dangerous here. However, her delusional perception sees a bus full of children in danger of a train crashing into them. Based upon her backstory, we know she suffered a trauma where children she cared for died in a fire. As a result, she has an extremely emotionally charged reaction to this scenario. Lily finds herself inside of a submarine filled with explosives. We all know how the Zanatos love their gardens, so her Psilirium fantasy was her tending to her garden. Again, this is an example of the mineral causing visions that have emotional relevance to the individual. By the time we meet Sasha, he is on the UFO and his vision alters the fish guards to appear like aliens. The entire time he attempts to receive knowledge from these imaginary aliens. Sasha is a scientist, and any opportunity to attain knowledge is an exciting situation for him. While not as emotionally charged, it feeds into his passions. Rasputin meets them one by one, and must break them out of the grips of the Psilirium. The method of doing so is with music therapy. Random music won't cut it. It must be music important to the individual. If the hallucinations excite emotions, a song that is emotionally relevant must be used to override the delirium. Studies have shown that music therapy can aid those suffering from various memory disorders, such as dementia or Alzheimer's. While stuck inside the UFO, a gold record begins to play Bach's Brandenburg Concerto No. 2. Back when he was an infant, Sasha had a faint memory of his mother singing the tune to him. As an individual who had been shaped by the early death of his mother, this song invoked a strong emotional connection. One that allowed his mind to push back the Psilirium's effect. For Mia, the music has less of a connection to her past, but more with her persona. The disco music that played in her mental world returns here and allows her to see the bus doesn't have any children in it. At the beginning of the game, Lily finds an old music box in the jet that belonged to her grandmother. While tending to her imaginary garden, Raz fixes the music box, and the tune she grew up listening to as a lullaby begins to play. Just in time, too, as she was hammering at live explosive ordnance. If anyone thought I forgot about the coach, I didn't. The difficulty with him is we never witness him hallucinating as far as I can tell. Rasputin finds him on a cruise ship and singing a tune by the boy band All Paul, a band that Oleander really enjoys. According to him, he was just having a lot of fun. So either he was able to resist the Psilirium's effect and just spent his time singing anyway, or the music stopped the delusions before Raz arrived and he just continued to sing. Firsthand, we only witnessed short-term exposure, and music therapy is able to help before it got bad. Truman, however, was there much longer than the rest. Luckily, by the time they escaped the Rhombus and got him away from the Psilirium, the effects had worn off, and he awoke just in time for Lily to tell her dad that she and Raz were dating. In light of Psychonauts 2, it is evident that this detail was retconned so that Truman never woke up and was suffering from Psilirium poisoning. I won't go into further detail until we conclude the next set of mental worlds. Psilirium is the second psychoactive mineral explored in this series. If there are any others with different effects on Earth, we don't know as of now. While I haven't heard any plans for a third Psychonauts game, I am curious about one thing. Both Psilirium and Psytanium fell from space inside of a meteorite. Since these rocks are by definition extraterrestrial in nature, where do they originate? Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please drop a like as it really does help out the channel. If you would like updates on new uploads, feel free to subscribe or follow me on Twitter. Have a good day and peace be with you all.